It's a bittersweet day for fried food lovers out there. The state's biggest food frenzy, better known as the Illinois State Fair, is a wrap.
And today, vendors are packing up and clearing out at the fairgrounds after almost 2 weeks. WCIA 3's Raquel Martin is live in Springfield. So Raquel, how did everything go?
Paul, I talked to the state fair manager, and the numbers aren't in just yet, but he's pretty optimistic about turnout, but some of the vendors I talked to weren't so upbeat. Now, the overall mood at the fairgrounds, I was there earlier today, it was pretty bleak. Some of the vendors I talked to say they crunched their own numbers, and they weren't too happy.
A time for cleanup, packing up.
Got about 4 trips back and forth.
And counting up.
I just looked at last year's figures and I did better than I did last year.
It's been a good run for t-shirt designer Brian Laughlin. He and his family have been selling their designs here for the past 4 decades.
They say they've been coming for 30 years in a row to buy shirts from me. It kind of makes it worthwhile.
But he might be one of the few vendors leaving here on a high note. Official numbers aren't in for the 2018 Illinois State Fair, but most of the vendors we talked to aren't betting on a win.
I think everybody kind of feels that sales were down a little bit. I don't know, attendance was a little slow during the weekdays.
The state fair has been battling attendance for the past few years. This is the 5th time Jennifer Luckhart and her husband have set up shop.
I don't know what the answer is. I think there's a combination of things.
Aside from one severe thunderstorm that canceled a concert, weather for the most part was good. This is Luke Saylor's first year as state fair manager and the 4th year with the fair. He says attracting large crowd is an ongoing puzzle.
There's just a lot of different diversity and different aspects. That's why we really tried to broaden the net to make something here for everybody.
In his opinion, this year went well, but he's sad to hear vendors may not feel the same.
You talked to one vendor, they had a great year, one vendor didn't have a good year. We truly hate that.
And though it's a toss-up, Lockhart says she'll be back.
The fair has been a part of my life since I was a little kid with my family, and I will do anything I can to support it and help it, and I just hope that I get that in return from the state.
I even talked to some of the ride attendants around where the rides were at the fair, and they believe that tickets were down in that area as well. Now, one thing keeping everyone hopeful for next year's fair is the amount of money being invested into the fairgrounds. This year in the budget, $30 million was set aside to fix the fairgrounds, and then also during this year's fair, the governor announced he'd be investing $1 million to renovating the Coliseum. But now live in the Capitol Newsroom, Raquel Martin, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Raquel, thanks. Well, a lot of those vendors heading downstate for another 4 days of fun. If you missed Springfield State Fair, DuQuoin State Fair runs August 24th.